not fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it.
A lot of the ancient cultures, including the Aboriginals, where they talk about this could be, I think that in the Aboriginals they say is dream time, and in the Hopi tribe says sleepy time. Do you know anything about that, Trudy?
Yeah, I sure can, Bill. In our language, we call that dream time. It's called Bujaram. And Bujar means love in our language, and Bujaram means dream time story. So, in a way, when you look at that, we are to love these stories. That's what that word tells us. And our elders always used to tell us, this is not real. And we say, what do you mean this is not real? We'll pinch ourselves and all, like, it feel real.
Yeah.
This is not the real world. This is not the way it's meant to be. And this is not real. The dreaming, they always used to tell us the dreaming is real. The dreaming is real and in the real world. Yeah. And that's what we started asking. So you're saying the dreaming stories is what was before this now. Our Dreamtime stories were the real world in the way it was. And that, like, Dreamtime stories, like, they run all across, like, there's so many, like, dreaming stories are like what I just shared with that story with you before, Bill, about, like, the Seven Sisters. They're songlines. They're dreaming stories. All these events and markers in history that have happened since the primordial, prehistoric times. Like, we have a story over here about the Bird Clan tribe taking out the reptilians, the dinosaurs. It was a Bird Clan tribe that wiped them out. And as you were talking about Tok, he's a part of the Bird Clan tribe, 9 of them, from the Pleiadian system. And here on East Coast Australia, there is a 12 Bird Clan tribe, the Feathered Serpents. And that's my people on the East Coast of Australia. So this Bird Clan tribe, yeah, we come from the Bird Clan tribe, from the Pleiadian system. And all our dances and our ceremonies, especially around here, bird feathers. They could swing through the trees and they mimic as a part of the ceremony. And mimic the birds and talk. Like, to me, him and Hermes and Yeshua and all that, they're ambassadors. They were ambassadors sent here by them. We have one here called Butterigan.
Oh, yeah.
Butterigan was sent by the Father too to remind us of being good moral human beings. So they've always been here, they're everywhere. And our name, the 12 Bird Clan tribe, Feathered Serpents, is called the Bugulna. And that Bal, that goes way back, that word, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen that over in Sanskrit, Tamil. Doesn't Bal Krishna mean divine child? We have a Bal here too. That was brought here by lightning and thunder and placed under a gum tree and raised by the animals.
Wow.
And his name is Bal. Maybe that's a story for another time, Bill, but that's a long story.
These are incredible stories. I mean, these really link to a lot of stories that I've read in a lot of the Mesopotamian stories. So you can see this connection from Australia to other parts of the world, the connection all the way across, even to the indigenous tribes, the natives of America, having the similar stories. You're talking about Australia on one side and, the Americas on the opposite side, and the stories are strikingly similar. You have to see that there's definitely a connection here. We can't keep saying it's just a coincidence. There's a definite and absolute connection. It's just amazing. It's really amazing.
Bill, let's settle that connection once and for all for the world. You know the Indus Valley?
Yeah.
The Great Ancient War?
Yep.
Let's go back to there. They all escaped.
Mohenjo-Daro. You talking about Mohenjo-Daro?
They all escaped down here for refuge. The Indians and the Africans. Our warriors from the 12 Feathered Serpent Clan tribe, Bugulna, went over to participate in this World War. Now, you got to ask yourself, Bill, why would they come all the way down and get our warriors to participate in the war over in the center of the world? We had nothing to do with.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the knowledge and the power they held. It was bad magic brought to the earth at that time. That had to do with the frequency and vibration that was changing on the earth. When they say man fell, we did fall. From spiritual to materialism. And that's what this is all about, this new coming. I mean, I've experienced an NDE. I know, I've seen things. I've been sped up on things and what's to come. And this is what it's all about. We return back. There's a word in our language, Bill, that really got me into this. The elders kept whispering to me, Numbingi, Numbingi. That means to return back to source. So I started digging deep into our Dreamtime stories. What do you mean turn back to source if we don't know where he is and who he is and what it is, besides our stories? And they said it's in the stories. And the deeper I got into the stories, a lot of research has to be done because I teach language. And out of the 23 dialects of the Bundjalung, the Bugulnar language, I know 7 of them.
Wow.
So I do that because it's up to us to keep it alive. Because a lot of our stuff went underground, Bill, from the invasion. Yeah. A lot of it went underground with the elders, and now it's just really surfacing because the time is now. We know there is a change on the planet. We know there's a cleansing happening. And we know there's going to be a death and rebirth of this earth. This stuff, we know it.
Yeah, that's a fact. So some people believe that the Pleiadians played a huge role in seeding life on Earth, not just the Aboriginal. So that's definitely a verbal story that's been going around the world. Now, if the Pleiadians seeded people here or came here, what I'm finding in some other ancient texts is that they had, for some weird reason, some wars going on in their star systems, and that people were trying to either preserve us or preserve Aboriginals or preserve the human species, or start a breakaway civilization of some sort. It's not really clear specifically, and each text is a little bit different the way you interpret it. But do you guys, any one of you, do you have any information about maybe the fact that people could have been seeded on this planet to preserve this the human race?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Western Australia, there's a clan over there, the Yulungu mob. There's an old uncle there. He has been given since the beginning of time the law of the water. He controls the water all around the world. He knows when she's sick. He knows when she's calling out. And he put a message call out a couple of years ago to the world about she's suffering. She needs it. There is tribes and clans around Australia that have been given such high laws over elements of the earth. They can control them. They can work with them. They communicate with them. Because everything, Bill, we look at everything has a language. From the water to the wind, to the trees, to the rock. They all speak in a language. And you can look at language as sound, frequency, or vibration. Like a radio station. When you tune into a certain band, you tune into that Pacific spirit of that element. And we have a lot of stories, Bill, that man and animal are responsible for a lot of these elements. Like gold is connected to a platypus in our country. And a man named Junbang. And that's how gold came about on the earth. So we have so many stories, that is way out there, maybe for some. But if you understand in the mystic world and supernatural world, there's no limit. There's no limit to what's possible.
Yeah, no limit at all. I remember when we were out in the outback, and it was at the time where there were fires out there.
Yeah.
The fires were burning, and we camped out on a rock face to have lunch, and you brought out the sacred stones.
Oh, yeah.
And some of these stones had different layers of material or elements within the stones, which to me were mind-blowing. is there any explanation how these stones can be combined in that way naturally, or do they make them that way? How are these stones possible?
Well, I'll give you an example of one because I brought one along that'll give you a very good example. I'll sort of hold it up near the camera when I start. There it is there, and I'll turn it around each side. And what you'll notice when I hold it close, and I'll try and hold this side here, you can see there's a cream sort of base rock underneath there. Then you've got this thick rock on the top, and you can see how it's been actually laid on top. Now, what's fascinating about this particular rock is a couple of things. Number one, they are star maps. Each side has a set of maps, and on the top, we didn't know this. The gentleman contacted us, and on the top, there's a series of circles there, and that's Corona Australis. Now, what's interesting about this is, number one, Corona Australis is not visible by the naked eye.
It's another one of those ones.
But it's up there on this. But what's most interesting with this is when I hold it this way, can you see that lipping across there, Billy?
Yeah.
What they did was they heated this top coat so that your thumb could sit on top, and then it ran down the side. But the side wasn't melted. Like a candle wax effect. You know how on the side it shows up just like that. So what you're seeing here is a coat. Fairly clearly you can see there's a coat there. The rock has been shaped, and then the coat has been reheated a second time so my thumb can sit near Corona Australis, and then it's sealed up like that. Now, what this is on top, and we do know it was a machine, sort of like a machine, and we know it's in one part of Australia, and our elders were looking for it because it was not destroyed. They kept it. That coats the rock. Now, what you've got there is a chert. Now, a chert is a rock, and you've got to melt it to around 3,000 degrees Celsius to get it liquid.
It can't be done on a campfire.
You cannot do it on a campfire. You've got to remember, original people are supposed to have stick, stone, and bone technology. This cannot be made by that. It's not done like that. So this particular rock shows you one part of what was taking place with these sacred rocks. But the most important rock, which
You're
is...
saying chert was more important to your people.
Yeah, Billy, chert was more important to our people than gold. It was very expensive in trading.
Well,
Very expensive. It was the highest sort of thing because of the spear tips,
Yeah.
the weapons and the artifact tools. Chert was highly sought after.
yeah, well, in this case, what happened with these rocks, they've all got a coat. Now, this one, the Smithsonian have approached us twice. They would like to take this rock and put it in a box. And that will be the last time humans will ever see it. They've approached it twice, and they said this rock is unique in the world. Now, what's really interesting with this particular rock, and I'll hold it up, again, it's been coated, and you'll see it's been cut on a couple of the sides there. Now, what's really interesting is Dr. Derek Cunningham basically measured all the angles on this. He believed that the first language, the very first language written, was mathematical because 1 and 1 is 2 all around the world. Right? All words vary, but mass doesn't. They are constant. And what he found was he measured this rock, and he measured it to 2 degrees, like 13.22 degrees, and measured each of these angles. Then he compared it to a rock in Calgary, and of the 21 angles, 19 were found on this rock. Then he compared it to a rock that Dr. Samir found in the Bosnian Pyramid, another continent on the northern side, and of the 15 angles here, all 15 are on this rock. Then it was compared to a German rock, wasn't it? That had 10 angles. All 10 angles are on this rock. So you add that up and you've got 46 angles found in Calgary in Canada, in Bosnia and in Germany. And of those 46, 44 are on this rock. Coincidence? I think not. No. What we're looking at, Billy, is there was a time in our planet where technology was far more advanced than what we even had now. And what you're looking at with these rocks in Australia is time after time, the technology is well past stick, stone and bone. And this one is a bit like the Rosetta Stone of first language, because 44 of the 46 angles are on this rock. And by the way, the 2 angles we don't have are on other rocks. So we're getting a story here of a first language, and we've only got to go to the Bible. And they'll talk about the Tower of Babel when we all spoke one language. And then after we started speaking different languages, we started to mistrust each other because we couldn't understand each other. This was a seminal backward step. This rock basically commemorates a time when all humans could understand and trust each other. So it's a very important rock. It has a dreaming story that goes with it that Kano gave me. And guess what the dreaming story is all about? About a group, the Goanna, coming in a spaceship and coming here. All of these stories in Australia, and Trudy's smiling when I said that, they must have a component about the mob up there. Our dreaming stories are really clear on that.
But as for conflict up there, there is a bit of conflict in that dream story that different groups fighting each other.
Oh, yeah.
It is definitely mentioned in the wall down here as well. The night event was peaceful.
No, it wasn't.
And we do have a site here in Australia it's like it's been irradiated. All the rocks melted and there's no animal life. Half the people that went with us ended up in hospital sick. It was like something residually was still there from whatever went on, but it just looked like there'd been a battle, basically.
Yeah. So what we've got in Australia, and I'll just hold up one more of hundreds of rocks, and every one of them's different, and I'll hold this one up here. Now, what's interesting about this particular rock, and I'll go to the other side, is the puncture marks. It's like a needle has punched into these rocks, and you've got a little round sort of depression around each of those needles. And on this side, they've created a warrior. And that is the star system of Orion. He's holding a spear in one hand. You can see him there with his two legs and his arm holding that up. And they join that together. So this is another star map again. And you'll find Uncle Marbach spoke to me about this. These are all of what we called, our original people elders called the Star Rocks collection. And he said, we've been looking for the 50 years. Our job was to get it all back together so it can go back onto country. And that's what we've been doing. It's not going back into a museum. But these rocks are our history. And what's very important with these rocks, they have a power within them, an amazing power. I've got one rock that can heal another. We've got rocks that can kill, haven't we?
Yep.
Even this rock, this one here, my wife was painting it once, and she's a professional painter, and she knew she couldn't touch it because it's a men's rock, right? Yeah. And she made the mistake of just touching it with a finger to move it. And I was 4 rooms away when she screamed out in pain, and I yelled out and said, "You've touched the rock, haven't you?" Because the rock's told me this. Ran back inside, and she had a pain running up her left arm. Was running up. You could actually see the bulb as it was running up her arm. It's going to go to her heart and kill her because she was a female touching a male rock. She broke protocol. I had the healing rock. I stopped that mark and stopped it and saved her. And I asked her recently, I said, give me a score out of 10 for the pain you experienced when that rock was there. 1 being a dull thrub, 10 agonizing. She said 8.5. Wow. So that just by touching it for 1 second creates an energy that runs up your arm and will kill you. So what we need to understand when we talk about these rocks, I can talk about the technology involved in making this rock, and no one can argue I'm wrong. It's ridiculous. It can't happen. You cannot have this taking place in stick, stone and bone. Yeah, but I can also talk about the fact there's an energy inside that rock that is way beyond our understanding. And when Trudy talked about our Weans, and what were the women called? Weamguns. They held these rocks, Billy. They were the custodians of these rocks, and they would use them with their magic, with their wisdom. And that was part of the way we used to live. And of course, today we see these rocks and think, what are they? They're a part of our history that we need to get back.
Right.
That's when we were functioning properly, when we could use magic, like we read a book.
What did Carl say about our DNA back then?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He said our DNA back then was more alive, more awake, and it's gone to sleep now. There was a time in the past when 100% of our brain was working, and we could do all these things. We could have magic, like you were talking before about men walking through trees. Professor Elkin, the first professor of anthropology in Australia, wrote a book
called Aboriginal Men of Higher Degree.
And he spoke about the fact he saw them walking straight into this tree and they were gone. And then they come back out of the tree. And he was given the first professorship in Australian anthropology. And he said they did this. He was watching it happen. We still saw it with Kano.
Yeah, so we were lucky enough down on Kangaroo Island
With Graham Hancock.
with Graham Hancock, and we were spending a bit of time. We just got there, so we're, around the campfire, trying to make a bit of food. Then magically Kano just appears, all in traditional garb, and starts singing in
First language.
whispering thing, and we all had to stop mid. All right, trying to make a sandwich, but I better stop now. And then, so we're all watching him, Graham's over there, Sanfa, we're all watching. There's about 20, 25 of us.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Kana takes one step back from the fire. Yeah. I'm like, okay, one more step, he's gone. Instantly disappears.
No one could see.
Now, depending on who you ask, it varies.
That's the interesting
Yeah,
part.
everyone's concept of time then changed.
Everyone said he was gone for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. Everyone's agreed. Graham couldn't speak. You know Graham pretty well. It's hard to stop Graham speaking for a long period of time. His mouth was open, but nothing would come out. My eyes are clearing. And they run up to me and say, go and ask him how he did that.
He reappeared meters behind us.
About 30 meters that way on his wife,
Like that.
with a big smile on his face.
I think someone asked her what happened there.
And she said, oh, you've never done that one before.
Now, they were like begging him, go ask him. I'm clicking that one. Finally, someone got enough nerve to go ask him, what happened? How did you do that? And he just smiled and went, what, can't you do it? I can do it. What's wrong with it?
He said this. He said, see that portal just over there? And old mate said, no. He said, that's the problem. He said, I can see it and call it. You can't. But it's there and it's waiting for you. This is what we're getting back to. He said, I'm not doing anything magic or special. I can just see these things that you can't see anymore, but they're still waiting for you. They're calling you now. Can't you calling? He said, no. He said, well, you need to work on that. So when we talk about these Wians and Wiegans and stuff like that, they know they could do all this, couldn't they, Cody? Every bit of it. Magic is normal for this mob.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
wow.
Yeah.
This is incredible stuff. I mean, I wish we can go on for hours because there's so much. We have to do a part 2 for this, but I have one more incredible question, which a lot of people I'm pretty sure want to hear if you have any knowledge of whatsoever. I wrote about it in my book, but only a very small amount in my book called The Epic of Humanity. We're talking about Lamria. And so you're talking about these ancient gifts and all these powers and using the brain. What do you know about Lamria?
A lot. We're standing in it. We're standing in the remnants of it. I've spoken to, and I'm sure Trudy's going to say the same thing. I've spoken to elders who refer to this place, not Australia, but they call it Mu. Right? Lemuria was the counterpart, the balance of Atlantis. Atlantis went headfirst into technology. Lemuria went headfirst into magic. This was where magic was brought to its highest art. This is where, and look, there is one way I could best explain what Lemuria is like, and that's to use Kano, because this is what Lemuria was. There was a time when Evan and we went to a site, and Auntie Beb was crook and couldn't give a ceremony, because as you know, we must do ceremony, and I did a ceremony given to me by Uncle Jerry. And what I did was, I can't talk about all of it. I stacked some rocks. I said some things. Then Evan came in, stacked the rock. Everyone came in and stacked the rock. We then went to this site. We spent a couple of hours there. We filmed orbs. I won't talk about that. Going over our heads, all sorts of stuff. We thought that was great. And we came back after 4 hours and thought, this has been fantastic.
Good day.
Good day. Then Evan got a phone call from Kano. Now, normally when your elder wants to talk to you, someone else will ring you up and tell you, you've got to ring them. They don't ring you. But if Kano rings you, you're in deep shit. And Evan hands me the phone and says, Kano wants to talk to you. What do I do wrong? And this is what he said to me. He said, you went on country today, didn't you? I said, yeah. He said, you didn't smoke yourself, did you? I said, oh, yeah, but I did and he said, don't tell me about the rock ceremony where you stacked the rocks into 4 bits, then said the words I said. He told me exactly what I said.
He also knew what color t-shirt you were.
And he asked me, why are you wearing a red t-shirt in the bush? And then I sort of said, and then Evan came in, and I said, well, Evan came in and he said, you mean he picked up that feather from the brown owl that flew out? I said, yeah. And he said, well, he's going to wear that. And then he went on to tell me everything I did. And then it went on and told me everything. Now, remember, where he was is 3,000 kilometers away, and it was 4 hours after it happened. That's 750 kilometers per hour. And at the end, he described about the helicopter flying around watching me with a red T-shirt, which is what happened, what we said, what we did, who was there. And at the very end, I said, Kano, I know you never answered me this question, but please, this time, you've got to tell me one thing. How do you know all the things we did and said? He said, oh, that's simple. He said, the owl flew out, didn't it? I said, yes. It went and told another animal, and it told another animal. And right now, I'm sitting here at the moment, and there's a big 6-foot red kangaroo sitting alongside me, and it's told me everything you've done. And then he closed with this. He said, Evan, you both broke law because we didn't do a smoking ceremony. We were given ceremony to do smoking. We didn't do it. We'd broken the law. Evan was sick for 3 years for picking up the feather. And I was told if I ever go on the country and don't smoke again, the spirits will kill me. Now that is Lamria.
Yeah.
He's living Lemurian way. Trudy talks about the Lemurian way. The original people are the keepers of that culture. Our elder, off-world elder Mesrev said, Lemuria never died. It will be here to the last breath of this planet. It is part of the planet. It is what Trudy's talking about. It's about the dreaming, isn't it? Yeah. Lemuria has never gone. We are living on it right now. Trudy here is a spokesperson of the way the Lemurians lived and still live to this day.
Wow.
So that's what
beautiful.
it is.
Yeah, beautiful. And so, Trudy, I'll let you close out. Trudy, I'll let you close this out and give everyone a special message from your culture.
The messages that have been forgotten a long time of who you are and where you come from. Never forget the ones before us, because they are the key to the answer to everything that's coming. One thing they shared with me is that what we need to get used to, which is going to be hard on humanity. We have free will right now. Lemuria is a type of, you didn't have so much free will. Very strict. So we need to start really learning how to discipline ourselves. Get ourselves right before the ancestors do come, because they're coming. As soon as we reach a certain vibration, the contact will be made. Some of us can see them and interact with them right now because we're on higher frequencies. But there will be a time coming, and it's best we prepare now to learn to put the things away that no longer serve us. Start looking after your family, yourself, your loved ones. Start that unity. We have a songline, Gitterwan, the white cockatoo. She represents unity. And her story is of unity. And Bill, we have a law over here, what we live by. The law of one, Yabruna. We have to come back to the law of one. And that's how we are going to survive and into the transition of the new earth. Because if we don't reach that frequency and that vibration in that time, it's going to be a lot of losses. When I had a near-death experience, Bill, 3 years ago, they told me I'm going to see a lot of death. And I said, how do I tell my people that? How do I prepare my people? Song lines. Bringing them back to the law of oneness, where we love each other unconditionally. We have to master the unconditional love. And it's possible. All we got to do is tap into our blood. 1 drop of your gram of blood, Bill, holds up to so many terabytes, 7,500 to be exact. Think of that 1 gram represents 7,500 terabytes of memory. You got thousands of generations of memory in your blood and your water. That's how our ancestors record everything we do, through blood and water and spirit. Everything we do, every thought, Every word is recorded in our water and our blood. And the 7 Sisters was all about the sacred waters. What sacred waters? The water within you.
Wow.
It's in all of us. So that's what I'd like to leave the world with, Bill. And we'd like to finally join the rest of the world. We've been left out for too long.
Yeah.
So include us over there, brother, any way you can.
Yes, we sure will. As a matter of fact, I'll reach out to you guys. We should do something with our Forbidden Knowledge TV network, and we should definitely plan some stuff on that side of the world where we can get people to come over there and have the experience that I had walking in the outback and seeing what I saw, not just hearing about it on YouTube and Google and TV, but actually to experience it. We should set something up.
Here's one thing, Bill. See how they talk about Orion? That's not Orion, that's the 3 brothers that came here. Sitting in their canoe, traveling the constellations. So that's another story we can talk about when they came here and landed and did law.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a lot more conversations with y'all and just really, bringing these stories to the world, because I really believe that the stories need to hear everything that you have to say. And I know it's kind of hard because of the time differences and everything else, but we're gonna make it happen. We have to make it happen. It has happened. It will happen. So I thank you and I appreciate you so much. It's an honor to have all of you on this podcast and to be able to talk to you. I know it was long overdue. Thank you, Evan and Stephen, for all the patience with me over the years. But I definitely want to be more interactive with you and Trudy as well, and to be able to just bring this knowledge to the people because they desperately need it.
They do. They really do, Bill. Our elders said that we will be mothering many in the future.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Thank you, everyone, for this podcast. I appreciate it all. And thank you for spending the time. And this wraps up another Forbidden Knowledge podcast. Watch this video for free at www.4bk.tv or download the app on your smartphone, Fire Stick app, Samsung TV, Roku, and other app providers.